Imagine driving down a desolate stretch of road in the dead of night. Your headlights cut through the darkness, and suddenly they illuminate a figure, a woman dressed entirely in white, standing completely alone. This isn't a scene from a movie. This was captured by a terrified driver in Nuevo Chimbote, Peru. As the car approaches, the figure doesn't move to safety. She just stands there, weeping. And it's not an isolated incident. This is a CCTV footage from Guatemala.
No mames.
You can see a pale figure floating in the frame, accompanied by the frantic, panicked barking of neighborhood dogs. The man who shared this footage said his father remembered hearing those exact same cries when he was a child. For the locals who capture these videos, there is no mystery about who or what this is. They already know her name, La Llorona. La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is one of the most deeply rooted legends in Latin America. Passed down through generations, it's often used as a cautionary tale to keep children away from dangerous bodies of water. The core of the story is always rooted in betrayal. A beautiful woman is abandoned by her husband. Driven mad by grief and a blind rage, she takes her own children down to the lake and drowns them. Realizing what she has done, the horror of her actions breaks her. She drowns herself, but is denied entry into the afterlife. Instead, she is cursed to wander the earth, trapped in purgatory, endlessly searching the riverbanks and lakes for the children she lost. Her defining trait is her agonizing, wailing cry in the dark. They say if you hear her cries from far away, she is actually standing right next to you. And if you cross her path, she will drag you down into the watery depths to replace what she lost. It's easy to dismiss La Llorona as just a localized myth. But when you dig deeper into global folklore, a terrifying pattern begins to emerge. Over 7,000 miles away, in the rural farming villages of Egypt's Nile Delta, there is an entity that mirrors La Llorona almost perfectly. They call her El Nadaha. Like La Llorona, El Nadaha is a mysterious, beautiful woman tied to the water, but instead of weeping, she is a siren. Eyewitnesses, like the man in this interview, claim she appears in the fields at night, waiting near the shores of the Nile.
أنا طلعت لي النداهة أكتر من مرة. يوم ما طلعت لي أنا كنت نايم، صحيت من النوم على صوتها، بدأت أمشي ورا الصوت لحد ما وصلت لباب الدار. فتحت الباب لقيتها واقفة عند الساقية اللي قدام الباب. فعرفت إن هي لأن أنا كنت راسم صورة ليها في خيالي. فلما شفتها عرفت إن هي. أول ما شفتها حسيت إن أنا زي ما أكون بين الصحيان والنوم، تايه. فبدأت تندهلي وتشاور لي وأنا أمشي ورا. فما فوقتش لما لقيت حد بيفوقني.
She doesn't scream. She sings or softly calls out the specific name of a man walking by. Her voice is a hypnotic chant. Those who hear it fall into a trance, following her voice straight into the dark waters, never to be seen again. Mexico has La Llorona. Egypt has El Nadaha. But the nightmare doesn't stop there. This exact same entity, a sorrowful or vengeful woman in white, exists in almost every culture on Earth. In Southeast Asia, deep in the Kalimantan region, she is the Kuntilanak, the astral spirit of a woman who died with a stillborn child in her womb. She disguises herself as a beautiful woman to lure her prey, much like El Nadaha. But once she has you, the disguise drops, revealing long, sharp fangs and horrifying fingernails. Her arrival is signaled by the sweet smell of flowers, followed immediately by the stench of rotting flesh. In Ireland, she is the Banshee. Look closely at this footage from 1966, taken during a burial in a Ballagmore cemetery. Notice the strange figure darting in the background. The Banshee is an omen of death. Witnesses describe a small old woman dressed in black or a grey cloak with long white hair. Her cry is described as a long, lonesome wail, a terrifying sound that no human or animal could possibly make.
Well, the Banshee is an omen of death, and she's supposed to cry. It's supposed to be a woman who's supposed to cry for certain families in Ireland.
What families?
Well, they're very special families. It's not any old family she cries for, sort of thing, you know. There are families who are supposed to be Irish. They're the Anglo-Norman families. The Burns, for example, she's supposed to cry for the Burns, you know.
Is she?
She is, mind you.
We're on the list.
You are.
And what other families does she cry
Well,
for?
she cries for the Mahans, the Murphys, the Nagels, the Nugents, the Kellys, you name it, sort of thing.
And is she only heard in Ireland, Patricia?
Well, there is a type of death medicine as well in Scotland now, for example, but of course you'd expect it in Gaelic Scotland. And she's the woman who washes at streams and rivers, washes clothes. And you find this to a certain extent in Ireland as well, particularly in Galway, actually. It's a very rich tradition in Galway. And the tradition differs in different parts of Ireland. You know, it's not all the same all over Ireland, you know, with the Banshee. And she's not even called the Banshee all over Ireland either. For example, if you live down in Wexford now, you'd know that she was called the Bow down in Wexford.
The Bow.
And in Carlow and parts of Wicklow. Legend called the comb legend. This is something that's grown out of the Banshee tradition in areas where she combs her hair. And people I've talked to in Dublin would say, you know, we were always told as children, don't pick up a comb, that's the Banshee's comb.
Right.
Particularly if it had a broken tooth in it.
Yes.
Because she was supposed to have very long hair, she was always combing it, so she broke the teeth in the comb, you see.
Yes. What's your name, daughter? Eleanor. Did you say you saw the Banshee?
No, I didn't say I saw it. My mother did.
Where?
She swore it on Kickham Road.
In Drimna?
Yeah, no, Inchicore.
In Inchicore?
And she did. She did. And it was the house that she was supposed to be sitting on, you know, on the lead, the window lead, was O'Neill. You know, I always understood that she followed the O's, not the Macs.
She does, yeah. As I say, by Owen Mac.
Yeah, you know, O'Neill, O'Dowd, or you
And
know.
what did your mother say she looked like?
She said she was a small little woman in black with long white hair, and she was combing, and she was moaning and groaning or whatever it is.
Where did you see the
No,
Banshee?
I didn't see her, Gay. I heard her.
Oh,
I heard her when I was 17.
Where?
And she was crying at the top of the driveway to the house where we lived,
And where was that?
in Malahide.
That's extraordinary. We were still in the urban area, yeah?
Yeah, and it was the most terrifying sound I ever heard. I never heard anything like it before, and I never hoped to hear anything like it again.
In the United States and the Philippines, we have the White Lady.
What the fuck? Was that a little girl or a grown-ass woman?
So how do we explain this? How did ancient people in Mexico, rural Egypt, Ireland, and the islands of Indonesia, people who had absolutely no contact with one another, all invent the exact same ghost? Are these stories just a psychological coping mechanism? Or is there something much darker at play? If an entity can shapeshift, if an ancient force feeds on the grief and terror of humanity, maybe it isn't a different ghost in each country. Maybe, whether she is weeping in Peru, calling your name in Egypt, hiding her fangs in Indonesia, or dropping her comb in an Irish cemetery, it's the exact same thing, just wearing a different mask. Next time you're driving alone at night and see a figure in white, don't stop, because whoever she is, she's been waiting for you. We've all seen the standard viral ghost stories online. Someone hears a bump in the night, they post a video, and we all scroll past. But recently, a series of videos surfaced that started as a typical internet mystery and rapidly devolved into something much darker. It began when a woman found an abandoned camera in the woods. It looked like it had been dropped in a panic, and there was what looked like blood on it.
Hey guys, it's Simone. They have me out here today filming some scenes in the woods. It's creepy as fuck out here, I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Why is there a camera in the woods? Oh, is that covered in blood?
When she checked the footage, she found a single 10-second clip. At first glance, it's just the woods, but slowed down, you can see something watching from behind a tree before sharply ducking out of sight. The woman was understandably freaked out.
Hey guys, the next video really kind of freaked me out, so I'm going to post it when I feel ready.
What started in the woods didn't stay there. The activity escalated aggressively. It wasn't just a shadow in a video anymore. It was in her house.
I keep having nightmares since I saw the first video. I close my eyes and I still see that shadow. And it haunts me. And just when I think I can get away and I open my eyes, it's there in my bedroom, right in front of me on my bed. Please help me. It's the middle of the night and I just got woke up again. It's coming for me. It's in my house. The noises are coming from the kitchen. Listen. That's the noise that wakes me up every night. It gets me. It wakes me up in my dreams. It wakes me up from my sleep. I have to catch it on camera. You see that? There's a shadow in the corner of the kitchen. I know I'm not seeing things. I know I'm not. Do you guys hear that noise? It's been like this all night. I can't make it stop. And when I get up and check the door, there's no one there. Oh my god, I'm fucking terrified. Go away. Go away. Make it stop. I don't want to make them go away.
She documented heavy footsteps, violent knocking on her bedroom door, and, terrifyingly, a shadowy figure standing in her dark kitchen. But look closely at this kitchen footage. The entity doesn't look whole. It looks half-formed, as if it's still trying to figure out how to manifest. Then, the entity changed tactics. It stopped just hiding in the dark and started using familiar voices. It mimicked her sister, who was out of town.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house? It's getting worse, and I haven't been able to tell anyone or go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anyone who's believing me. At first, it was my sister, but now I hear my mom. And she doesn't live here. She lives on the other side of the country, and I just called her, and she's in her own home. She's not here right now.
But the facade wasn't perfect. Beneath the familiar voices, a strange male voice could be heard calling out. The entity was morphing.
Ever since I started making these videos, the entity, it's been It's been changing, been morphing into different things, scaring me in different ways. At first I thought it was all in my head, but it's changed into shadows, into different people, into voices, and it's just completely taking over my life. Like, I see no way out of this at all.
Desperate, she tried to return the camera to the woods near an abandoned house. But whatever was attached to the camera had already claimed that territory. She caught something peeking at her from the windows.
So I've been getting a lot of recommendations to bring the camera back, right back to where I found it. Roughly right over there. I'm getting scared still every single night, and I just don't know what to do. I was just walking out of my apartment, and look. Do you see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
It took its final, most recognizable form. Watching her from a parking lot, the entity was no longer just a blur or a mimic. It was the Hat Man. This isn't an isolated sighting. Thousands of people across the globe claim to have seen this exact same figure. Some see him in sleep paralysis. Others, like these commenters, see him wide awake, in broad daylight, watching them from corners, or even mimicking their family members. So, what are we looking at here? Why does an entity start as a shapeless shadow, learn to mimic voices, and eventually solidify into the Hat Man? To understand this, we need to look back at history. Take Salem, Massachusetts, the site of the infamous 1692 witch trials. The air there is thick with residual energy. At places like Salem's historic Henry Darby House, investigators don't just report one type of ghost. They report everything: disembodied voices, heavy footsteps, and shadowy apparitions. The entities seem to change based on who is experiencing them. This brings us to a concept found in New Age and occult beliefs: the egregore. An egregore is an autonomous entity that is created and sustained by the collective thoughts, energy, and belief of a group of people. Think about it. Millions of people know about the Hat Man. Millions fear him. According to the theory of egregores, if enough people pour their fear and energy into the idea of a shadow with a hat, that thought takes form. It becomes real.
I do believe in fairies. I do. I do believe in fairies. I do.
I do believe in fairies. I do.
This explains why the entity in the TikTok videos started as a half-formed shadow. It was feeding on her terror, learning her mind, and eventually pulling the image of the Hat Man from the collective human subconscious. But there is a darker theory, one that connects the New Age idea of egregores to ancient religions. What if egregores are just a modern label for something much older? In theological terms, demons are ancient, malevolent spirits known for their ability to shapeshift. They are tricksters. They don't want you to know what they truly are. It has often been said that the devil's greatest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. If a demonic entity wants to torment you, drain your energy, and drive you to madness, what better way to do it than by wearing a disguise? It will be a glitch in a camera. It will be the voice of your sister. It will be an internet urban legend like the Hat Man. It will let you believe it is a ghost, a glitch, or an egregore. Because as long as you don't know what you're truly fighting, it wins. We are left with a terrifying set of possibilities. Is the woman in these videos being haunted by a localized ghost? Did her own fear accidentally manifest an egregore into reality? Or has an ancient, shape-shifting evil simply found a new mask to wear for the digital age? What do you think is waiting in the dark? Let me know in the comments below. There is a sound hidden deep in the North American woods. It isn't a bear, it isn't a wolf. It is a massive, guttural roar that requires lungs twice the size of a human's just to displace the air. In the late autumn of 1994, deep in Columbiana County, near the Ohio River, investigator Matt Moneymaker captured what is now famously known as the Ohio Howl. The recording shook the cryptid community. It was so compelling that years later, Moneymaker and his team returned, convinced that the creature was highly intelligent and curious. Their strategy? They brought in famous musician Shoji Tabuchi to play his fiddle into the pitch-black woods, believing the music would draw the creature out. At 11 p.m., the music stopped and the woods howled back.
We've got perfect conditions tonight. We've got no wind. In a couple hours, the moon will come up. We'll have darkness before then, right on the edge of the Mark Twain National Forest with a bunch of caves around, and there's a history here.
That canyon should form something like a natural amphitheater to push our sounds out, possibly even one as beautiful as one you play every night in Branson.
Well, thank you. What an experience for me, and I'm gonna try my best.
Oh, you're gonna be great.
We've had success playing music in the woods at night to get them curious. If a Bigfoot hears anything making a lot of noise, it's gonna wanna go check it out if it can do so safely.
That sounds great, boys.
All right, well, it's time for me to do a howl. Let him know.
Matt's gonna do a howl in 10.
Copy. I'm doing it due west.
Done.
Okay, 2 out of 3 of us barely heard it.
Copy.
But while some go looking for the beast, others stumble into its territory completely by accident. In May 2015, a man running a YouTube channel called Tomorrow's Garden was simply filming himself hunting for wild mushrooms in northern Illinois. He was completely alone. The woods were peaceful, and then this happened.
And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh? I think it's time to go.
Tomorrow's Garden was lucky. He had a clear path out. But what happens when you're trapped? On July 8th, 2012, near Clipper Mills, California, a man and his wife were towing their boat when their truck's transmission completely died. They were stranded on the side of a heavily forested road. No cell service, nowhere to run. They had no choice but to spend the night in the truck with their dogs. At 10 p.m., the siege began.
It's over here, too. It's coming from back there, too, behind us. See, that's a dog. You hear that?
Juno, what did you hear? What was that?
That's no dog.
It's a bear.
I think it's a bear. I don't think so. They don't call that much. Dogs right over there. Whatever it is over there. There's a bunch of them. They're talking. They're just communicating.
That's not
Yeah, there's one back there too, like earlier.
Yeah, that's not a dog bark.
You can hear the dog barking amongst these howls.
I'm sleeping in the cab.
The pitch-black woods erupted. It wasn't just one scream. It was a chaotic, demonic mashup of frantic dog barking and abnormal, distorted howls that sounded like they were echoing straight out of hell. For 20 agonizing minutes, the massive creatures circled the broken-down truck, screaming into the dark. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it faded into distant, sporadic howls until midnight. If you need proof of exactly what is making these sounds, you only need to look at the terrifying footage surfacing on the Strange Wilderness channel. In June 2024, a trucker pulling into an industrial site flipped on his overhead spotlights. He didn't see it until he reviewed his dash cam later, a colossal 10-foot-tall bipedal beast standing just inside the tree line, watching him. But the most chilling footage comes from the mountains of Alberta, Canada. Two indigenous friends, Frank and Donald, were hunting in an area known to harbor a beast their people call Wepia We Mistyasai, the walk's tall forest beast. Frank takes his ATV to pick up Donald from his tree stand as night falls. But Donald is gone, and Frank's ATV suddenly won't start.
Dawn? Dawn? Shit, man. Just heard something again. Hey! Is that you?
Stranded and alone, Frank starts walking. Every 2 minutes, a low, guttural scream echoes through the trees. Tracking him, he stumbles upon a freshly ripped-off elk head, and then a massive, primitive shelter woven from giant tree branches. Realizing he is being hunted, Frank loads his rifle and fires warning shots into the dark. A massive, dark figure charges him. Frank shoots, misses, and is knocked semi-conscious. The beast drags him through the rugged terrain, tossing his body into a lair filled with dead animal remains. Assuming Frank is dead, the creature leaves to hunt again. Against all odds, Frank escapes into the freezing night. He walks for 2 hours until he finds Donald's hunting bag abandoned on the ground. But Donald is nowhere to be found. Frank discovers an above-ground grave site. Lying dead upon it is a juvenile bipedal beast, and then the footage abruptly cuts out. Frank survived to share the video. Donald was never seen again. When you look closely at these encounters, a terrifying pattern emerges, one that suggests we aren't just dealing with an undiscovered ape in the woods. Think back to the stranded couple in Clipper Mills. They didn't just hear the deep, singular roar of a primate. They were surrounded by a chaotic, demonic mashup of distorted screams, dog barks, and unnatural howls that sounded like they were echoing straight out of hell. And then there is Frank's footage in Alberta. His ATV didn't just stall, it completely refused to start the exact moment the danger arrived. A classic sign of supernatural or electromagnetic interference. But pay close attention to the audio right after the engine dies. A low, demonic scream echoes through the trees. And as Frank abandons the vehicle and starts walking, that same low scream follows him, sounding off every 2 minutes. It isn't the massive, lung-busting roar of a 10-foot giant. It sounds like something else, something scouting. It was marking him. The first scream was a signal to the larger beast. Here he is. And as Frank tried to slip away in the dark, the entity kept calling out, acting as a spotter, telling the massive creature exactly where its prey was going. When you put these pieces together, it points to a chilling theory. What if this bipedal beast isn't just a biological animal? What if it is a commander of the dark? A supernatural force that brings other, lesser demonic entities with it to stalk, track, and terrorize its prey? Whether it's the Ohio riverbanks, the California highways, or the freezing mountains of Alberta, the message is the same. There are ancient things in the deep woods. They are massive, they are highly intelligent, and they are not hunting alone. So the next time you are out in the wilderness and hear a howl that makes your blood run cold, don't pull out your phone to record it. Just run.